Call this month's meeting to order. And we will start with a roll call. So Marla, if you could take us through that, slowly if you could. No, I'm joking.
Okay. Commissioner Bittner, Commissioner Conley,
Here.
Commissioner Jarrett,
Here.
Commissioner Munson, Commissioner Patrick,
Here.
Commissioner Rich,
Here.
Commissioner Streifel,
Here.
Commissioner Zuroff,
Here.
and Chairman.
Yes, here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. And we'll move into approval of the minutes from the last meeting, from the October 8th, 2025 meeting. Are there any corrections? There's a motion to approve. Okay. It has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the previous meeting in our packets. Any, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, minutes are approved. Okay, we'll move into the public comment portion of the meeting. So if there's any public comment that anyone would like to bring up, you can approach the lectern and let us know who you are and have some public comment. This public comment is restricted to Burleigh County residents and landowners. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Is there anything in the consent agenda that anyone would like to dive into detail? We just have the Kuntz subdivision on that consent agenda. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, consent agenda is approved. We will move into our public hearings for the evening. And we will start with the Who's subdivision. And I think Marla,
Mitch is going to present that.
he is,
and
okay.
He had to run back to the office.
No problem. We'll just give him a couple minutes to come on back down here. And then we will move into that public hearing. Cue the Jeopardy music, right? Okay. You're doing Galilee?
I'm doing that one.
Okay, sounds great. Well, we will jump to the second public hearing, 4-2, the Galilee subdivision and zoning change from A to R1. And Marla will take us through a couple details of that, and then we will open up the public hearing to the public.
Okay. This is the Galilee subdivision, and it's a zoning change. The petitioners are Lisa and Trent Peterson. Engineering firm is Swenson Hagen. The location is Track C of the Northwest 1/4, Section 6, Township 139, Range 79. The project is a one lot on 10 acres. The zoning change is agricultural to rural single-family residential. And the petitioners are requesting approval of the final plat and zoning change and get a due pass recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. It was posted in the Bismarck Tribune on October 29th and November 5th. Surrounding property owners were notified on October 30th, and the Burleigh County website posted it on October 31st. Burleigh County was approached about building a home on a lot containing 10 acres. Because the lot is less than 40 acres, the petitioner was advised to plat the parcel into a subdivision. Swenson and Hagen Company met with the review committee regarding the preliminary plat. The review committee did not have any concerns. The Burleigh County staff also recommended the petitioner apply for a zoning change from A agricultural to R1 rural single family residential because of the size of the lot will be less than 10 acres, just less than 10 acres. The preliminary plat was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission on October 8th of 2025. Staff findings, Let me put up a drawing first. Okay. This subdivision meets the requirements of Article 33 of the Burleigh County zoning ordinances. The final plat has been submitted to all reviewing entities. All concerns and corrections will be addressed. There's just one minor concern. The zoning is agricultural, and the zoning change to R1 has been requested. And the subdivision meets the requirements of the Burleigh County Comprehensive Plan, Article 3, Residential Neighborhoods, Objectives 1 and 2. And a stormwater management plan waiver was submitted September 17th. For the zoning change, the proposed parcel meets the requirements of Article 12, R1, Rural Residential Districts. The parcel is in a low-density residential and limited agricultural area. The surrounding properties are zoned north side agricultural, south side agricultural, west is agricultural, and on the east, it's R1, rural residential. It's by the Country Creek 3rd and 5th subdivisions. The petition for the final plat meets all the administrative requirements of the Burleigh County zoning ordinances. Article 33, staff recommends approval of the final plat and a due pass recommendation. And the petition for the zoning change meets all the administrative requirements of the Burleigh County zoning ordinance. Article 12, staff recommends approval and a due pass recommendation. So you can approve the final plat and zoning change and give a due pass, or approve the final plat and zoning change with conditions and give a due pass after they have been met. Deny the final plat and zoning change with reason, or table the final plat and zoning change for more information. And that is all I have.
Okay, are there any questions for Marla? Yes, Commissioner Rich.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Marla, I'm looking at page 2, and it says building a home on a lot containing 10 acres, and then the next paragraph, resident, because the size of the lot will be less than 10 acres. Is
Yeah.
it about 10 acres, or?
Well, it
more or
is 10
less, I
acres, but they're going to take some right-of-ways and easements out of it, so it's going to be just under 10.
Slightly
And then the zoning ordinances say that anything under 40 acres has to be platted. We just suggested the zoning change. They probably could have stayed agricultural. So,
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Streifel.
While you're there, Martha, could you, or Marla, sorry,
that's all
could
right.
you elaborate on the minor concern?
Just the stormwater management plan waiver is the one thing that I was looking for,
Is it?
but
you
it's
mean
been
that
submitted.
It's submitted, not approved.
Right.
Okay,
Unless it's approved. It's approved, so now there's no problem.
okay, thank you. Any other questions for Marla before we open the public hearing? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Marla. We will open the public hearing for the Gowley subdivision and zoning change from A to R1. If you'd like to speak at this hearing, please approach the lectern, sign in, tell us who you are and where you're from.
Thank you. Landon Neimiller with Swinson Hagen Engineering representing. Just add a little bit to what Marla had, or maybe just a clarification. Yeah, the entirety of the parcel is 10 acres, but with that dedication of just 20 feet for the construction of Ronald Road, which already exists, gets us just under that 10-acre mark. Additionally, with a 10-acre parcel in Burleigh County, there's some ambiguity as to what can be constructed on a 10-acre lot, even if it's agriculturally zoned. You know, some of your income should be actually from farming rather than just a single-family home out there. So the zoning change to R1 makes sense for this property. But I can certainly answer any questions if you have them.
Any questions from anyone? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone else would like to speak at this public hearing for the Gowley subdivision and zoning change, please approach the lectern. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and sign in. Anyone else like to speak at this public hearing? And a third time, if anyone would like to speak at this public hearing, please approach the lectern. Okay, seeing no other interested parties, we will close the public hearing and move into discussion and action on this public hearing for the Golly subdivision and zoning change.
Move to approve the final plat and zoning change as presented with a due pass recommendation to the Board of Burleigh County Commissioners.
Okay, it has been moved to approve or move to recommend approval to the County Commission for the Golly subdivision and zoning change by Commissioner Zuroff, seconded by Commissioner Rich. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a roll call vote. So Marla, if you could take us through that.
Okay, the motion is to approve the Golly subdivision and zoning change and give a due pass recommendation. Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Commissioner Zuroff,
Yes.
Commissioner Jarrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Streifel,
Yes.
Commissioner Patrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Rich,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
all approved.
Okay, the Golly subdivision and zoning change from A to R1 is approved or is sent to the County Commission with a recommendation of approval. Okay, now we will go to the Hughes subdivision public hearing. And Mitch, if you could take us through this one, give us a little introduction to it, and then we'll open the public hearing.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. First up, well, I'll be second up now, sorry, is the Hughes final subdivision. This is a lot that's located at 1109 Lakeview Drive. In your packets are site plans and location plans. It's in Apple Creek Township, and it's a combination of 3 lots into one. The paving waiver is not required for this plat. Stormwater management plan was approved. Apple Creek Township has recommended approval of the plat. They reviewed it. 6 revisions of to this plat were made to reach Article 33 ordinances. It's fairly simple project. As in your packet is that location plan. Some late comments have been reached. We reached our office yesterday, and so it's the lot to the west end of the proposed plat is still part of the Country View Estates. And the developer is here. I'm sure he'll make comments on that. So it was fairly straightforward until then. So now the question is, can you remove an existing lot out of an existing subdivision? Century Code says you can. Century Code says if everyone owns that, if that is all privately owned, they can vacate the entire subdivision. But there are some mitigating concerns of the development around this subdivision. And I'm sure that the developer would want to talk about that, and you can open up the public hearing. It was straightforward until then. The owner combined these lots specifically so he can build a horse barn, a large one. So because he's got 13 acres there. And we have not heard any concerns from anyone else. So that's the history of this.
Any questions or comments for Mitch? I think Commissioner Zuroff, you were first.
Yeah, Mr. Flanagan, so just perusing through the comments that were received from Mr. Mariner regarding this, one thing that he mentioned in here is They have a master plan for Country View Estates. Does this, outside of the one lot on the west side, do these other two lots that are getting combined in with that is this whole area part of the master plan? How does this fit in with the master plan? Taking, I'm gonna say, like, lot lines out of consideration, but overall layout and use.
I haven't seen the master plan, Mr. Chair, sorry. Mr. Chair, Commissioner Zuroff, I haven't seen the master plan. I had talked to a developer tonight, and he says could provide a copy of it. I don't believe that these lots, the ones that were not part of the subdivision, are in the master plan. I think they own the property to the north, and they intend to develop that. And so I'm not sure. I'm sure he can speak for himself though, on that.
All right, Commissioner Conley, you had something?
Without vacating that lot, are they not able to build the building that there is?
Well, I would reduce it by 2 acres. It'd be down to 11 acres. They could still build it, but it's, I think that's not part of their plan. They want all 3 lots to be combined into one.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to know if it's like, was a no deal if that was a vacated
I'm
lot.
sure maybe the owner will come up and talk about it, but or the surveyor is here too as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Streifel.
Mitch, could you condense the North Dakota Century Code that you're referring to? Or do you have
Right.
it in front of you?
It's in Title 40, Section 50-1 through 16. This is regarding platting after the sales.
Any other questions or comments for Mitch before we open the public hearing? Commissioner Rich?
Mr. Chairman, Mitch, well, they want to subdivide these lots into 3, I guess.
No, they want to
No,
combine.
Combine the 2,
It's a
okay.
lot
Well, let's say
combination.
they don't combine the 2. Can they still get a variance to build this horse arena across 2 lots? I mean,
Well, if they built across the lot line, we would ask them to plat. It doesn't automatically combine the lots like the city of Bismarck does. So we'd have to ask them to plat it, but it may reduce the size of the building that he wants by the 12 acre or 2 acres.
All right, any other questions or comments for Mitch before we open the public hearing? Seeing none, thank you, Mitch.
Yep.
Okay, we will open the public hearing for the Hughes subdivision. And if anyone would like to speak at this public hearing, please approach the lectern, tell us who you are, where you're from, and sign in.
My name is Steve Mariner, and I'm one of the Country View subdivision owners. And we do have a master plan. And we would have moved forward with that master plan, but we needed a second access because at the time that got taken away. If we go back on record and see what happened. And now we do have the second access, but the whole thing was master planned out. And we don't feel it's right to pull a lot from our subdivision because we have covenants, restrictions, all that set in place. And that's just my take on it. As far as century code, all that, I'm not sure how that actually plays out, so. And if he doesn't need to pull one of our existing subdivision lots from there because that's part of our covenants and restrictions, we prefer that not happen, so. I don't know if you have any questions of me.
Any questions for Steve? Yeah,
Chairman.
Commissioner Zuroff, yes.
Back on my question for Mitch, the use of having horse barn, arena, fenced-in stuff, how does that play into your covenants that you have?
Well, they're not allowed in there on ours.
Okay.
And I haven't seen the plan. I don't know what he plans to do, so if we could table it, I'm not saying that, I still don't feel the lot should be taken away unless it's gonna follow. Because them 2 lots, Mitch, were part of the master plan.
Okay.
So the one's actually in the subdivision, and he's trying to take it out of our subdivision and put it in a new subdivision.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot more that we should learn.
And then just
Yeah, go
another
ahead.
question, are those covenants filed against the properties? Because I know you guys have the landowners, when they purchase a property, sign off on the covenants, but
Yeah.
were those actually recorded with the county recorder's office?
Them were.
Against the property, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, you'd mentioned something about a second access. Can you elaborate on that a little
Well,
bit?
The only reason I brought that up is because we couldn't continue, otherwise we'd already be continued. That's why we stopped.
Oh.
Because at that time, you could only go so many feet or so many lots with one access, so. We've been waiting on that, subdivision to go further, and we finally got other property to have the second access now, so. But,
Okay, and when you say go farther, is that, you mean to the, I guess what would be the east?
there's
Right.
a map up here, but
Yeah.
the whole 213 acres that's left was all master plan designed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and them 2 lots including were part of that, so there's a long history on that.
Okay.
A new owner's bought the home. Maybe he's not aware of all the history either, I don't know, so.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Steve? Yeah, Commissioner Rich.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mariner.
Yes.
In your email, you said, "We will not allow the 40-foot access easement on our land as this is our personal property," but there's a road that runs along the edge of the property. Why would they need an easement?
Well, we built the road in there to continue the development, and then when the commission pulled away the second access from us, we never finished developing it until we got the second access, the property, so. It's hard to kind of explain without a map and going through the history of it, so.
But he's able to use the road currently to access his lots.
No, if you look back, the only way you could access that lot is he had to buy that lot that was in our subdivision and put an approach in there. I don't know if you guys have a Google Earth overview or anything.
Yeah, we've got it.
So that, actually, in order to get a building permit, the guy who built the house had to buy one of our lots and access off that lot to get the permit to build that house. So,
So it's
it's
this-
gonna be
it's
hard
this
to go over the
40-foot
whole
easement.
history on it in this short amount of time
This is-
without
this
being
is-
prepared,
don't even-
otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, we're just looking to understand.
Yeah.
So-
Any other questions or comments for
I
Steve?
mean, essentially what they're looking to do is plat an easement that is not.
Yeah, Commissioner Patrick.
What of your, what covenants would be violated on your, I just asked Marla, the covenants have been filed, so, so they are enforceable, but, which ones would they violate?
I haven't had time to look through it all, but I think we have restrictions on, I think probably my biggest thing is, there was an agreement between the guy who built the house that them 2 lots would become part of Country View subdivision as it, and he wouldn't oppose as it continued on. And, then the county made him buy a different lot inside the subdivision existing from us since the second access went away. This is a long story, but we built the road and we were gonna continue, but then they pulled our second access that we had, so we couldn't continue. But what they did is they allowed him to buy them 2 parcels from us, but he had to buy one of our lots to the west, that one he wants to pull away, for his access. That got him his access, that got him his MDU gas, water, all them things, so. That's the way the commission did it back then. So. Any other questions?
Any
on-
other questions
yeah.
or comments for Steve? Seeing none, thank you, Steve.
You're welcome, thank you.
All right, if anyone else would like to speak, it looks like we have our next speaker. Please introduce
Hi.
yourself, tell us where you're from, and sign in.
Let me do one thing first. Hi, Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Amber Hughes, and I am one of the owners along with my husband. And so we're basically doing what we were told by the township so we could build the horse arena, and that we purchased the land in December of 2016. It was a foreclosure, so we are not the people who built the house. We bought it, and we specifically bought this property because we knew the first acre, or acre and a half, I'm not sure how much it is, that the first one is part of the subdivision, which Mr. Mariner's correct on, and it does have covenants, but the reason we bought the property is because the other 5-point-something acres, there's the other 2 lots, those we were allowed to have horses, and that's the whole reason we would have never bought it if I couldn't have horses. And so now all we want to do is just build an arena so I can ride in the wintertime. And so we went to the township to get permission to build, and they said that we needed to combine and replat the land, and that's how we went down the journey. We have approval to build. We are not opposing their subdivision or anything. We do not need I call it the farmer's road. That road, that's the farmer uses it when he farms the land. We have our driveway, so we're not opposing their subdivision. They did, purchase the farmer to the west of the subdivision. I think Stolberger, I can't remember his name, but they purchased 80 acres there. So yes, they do now have a second easement, or not an easement, a second access to continue their subdivision, but we're not opposing their subdivision at all. We just want to build a riding arena. That's it. So.
On the map, can you just point to where you're planning on putting this horse arena?
Yes, it's going to be in the back property.
On the east side?
If you see my finger. So here.
So right off the back of the house?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically on the east side of the property?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in the subdivision.
Okay.
And we did collect signatures and everything from our neighbors, and we had asked them, before we even began the journey, but when we heard there was opposition against the replatting, we asked them if they were okay with it or opposed to it, because, we don't want to upset our neighbors either. And everybody was totally fine with it.
And just approximation, how big is this? How big is the riding arena? I don't know.
I don't know. He can answer that.
Oh, okay. I can ask later.
Just
That's fine.
told him what I want. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. And so, anything else
Lucky
for
you.
anything else for Amber while she's up here?
Do you need to come talk? Do you need
Yeah,
to?
he can speak later. Yeah.
Okay. No,
we'll
and
finish
that's
with
it.
you.
I mean, you guys had specific questions. Did you guys get all your questions answered? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we really. That's it.
Yeah. Any questions for Amber before she steps away? Commissioner Rich, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Amber, so you want to build this on a land that is not part of the subdivision,
So
even though you have a
for-
lot that is part of the
Yes,
subdivision?
the first acre, how it was explained by our realtor and the bank that we bought the properties from was they're basically 2 5-point-something lots. Those were not part of the subdivision. They're zoned agricultural. They're like different zoning and everything, so we could have land and all of that. We did not know about any master planning for a development. We didn't know about any of that when we bought this. So,
Okay.
but that's not what we're here. That we're not opposing that at all. We just want to build on our property.
Any other questions, comments for for Amber? Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Streifel.
Chair Amber, is this just an arena, or does it include a building, like a horse
No,
barn?
it's just an indoor riding arena, and it has also like a lean-to, so I can have my stalls inside for the horses, and it's not for commercial or like not boarding. It's just for private. It's just for us and our kids, like ride and everything. So it's just for our family. That's it.
So it's an existing building that you're?
No,
so
nothing.
you're gonna build a building?
The only
with the
building
indoor
currently on
riding
there is
arena.
the house.
Okay.
And
All right.
yeah,
Thank you.
and to build the building the size we want and everything, we have to combine everything, and that's the only reason we want to combine it.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Any
And we
other
don't
question-
plan on really doing anything to the first acre. I just planted trees. That's all I did on it. So
Any other questions or comments for Amber? Seeing none, thank you,
okay,
Amber.
thank you.
Quick question before he
yes.
gets started.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Mitch isn't here. So, he's over here. What is the allowable lot coverage?
The 2 acre lot is 3,400 square feet. If you took
Okay.
that out of it.
Right, but the other two lots based on their zoning,
It's,
because we're talking about, I'm gonna say it, I mean, not a lot of acreage, but I mean, when it comes to a residential
Yeah, I
house, I
think
mean.
13,
says
fair-
13 acres.
Yeah,
Yeah,
13
13
acres.
acres, so a fair amount of acreage. Because really what I'm trying to, just so everybody's aware where my brain is at, is lob that last lot off on the west side if possible. If they can get the size of arena that they want built, they can still combine the two larger lots, still have 11-ish acres. That'll be up for Mr. Isaacs to determine that, but, I mean, lob it off and it kind of becomes a nothing bug at that point.
yeah,
Go
Mr.
ahead,
Chair.
Mitch, yeah.
The 13 acres allows 22,600, and the 2 acres, what did I say, 3,400 square feet? So
Yeah.
it would reduce it by about, down to 18,
18,200, no, 19,200.
yeah, because it's 22,600 for the,
What's the footprint of the house?
that's not included,
That's not included.
no.
So
This is accessory.
they can do
building.
up to 19,200 on the remaining two.
Yeah, if you took the 2 out and left it at whatever, 9 acres.
11, or,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, thank you, Mitch.
Hello, I'm Corden Hughes. I'm one of the other property owners. Yeah, to answer the more specific questions, part of the reason we were trying to combine all these lots is to maximize the accessory building square footage, as recommended by the township. The type of riding our family does is called reining, and unfortunately that needs a fairly long distance indoor arena just because there's long rundowns and stops. And so kind of the size we were shooting for was 100 by 200 of the actual indoor riding arena. And then we were going to use the extra square footage basically for the lean-to and stalls for the horses. Reducing it would make that more difficult. I mean, we might still be able to get a variance through Apple Creek, but that's, the concern.
Okay. Yeah, any questions or comments for Corden or Corbin?
Corey works fine.
Corey? Okay.
Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
Yes.
so 100 by 200 is 20,000 square feet, plus then you're probably looking to put an additional 2,600 square foot lean-to,
Essentially, yeah, that was
Okay.
kind of what we were shooting for.
max out what you got, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
All right, any other questions, comments for Corey before he steps away? Anyone? Thank you.
Okay.
Brandon Shook, I'm a Burleigh County resident. I don't really have a stake in this, but I see what you guys are looking at, and I think you guys allow this and you're going down a slippery slope, because then I can just go buy 3 or 4 lots in a subdivision and buy the property behind it and make the subdivision disappear. So I guess that's my only comment.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you. If anyone else would like to speak in this public hearing on the Hughes subdivision, please approach the lectern, tell us who you are, where you're from, and sign in. Anyone else like to speak in this public hearing?
Good evening, Commission. Mark Isaacs with Independent Land Surveying and Engineering. Just for information only, that picture is the picture of the two auditors' lot that exist. So those are not platted lots. They are plats of irregular descriptions that would need to be platted as part of this. And then you can see the That's actually 1.5 acres is Lot 2. This is what is in the existing subdivision. So just for clarification, some of that information is on the plat, but your small copy, it's very hard to read. So I thought I would just show that for clarity and answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, any questions, comments for Mark? Seeing none, thank you, Mark. If anyone else would like to speak in this public hearing on the Hughes subdivision, please approach the lectern. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and sign in. Anyone else? And a third time, anyone like to speak at this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, is there any reason that we would need to continue this public hearing before we close it? Yes, Marla.
Okay, I did some research on this today because they had mentioned an agreement with the previous owner about the lot. I couldn't find anything that was recorded. I did find all the mortgages. There was nothing in either the original mortgage or the ones that they took out when they purchased this property that forbid them to combine that lot into their subdivision, the agreement that they had with the previous owner. But it was not recorded. There was nothing recorded to say that agreement. So it wouldn't have come up in a title search when they purchased the property that was in there. But the mortgage does say separate properties, the lot and block, and then the two auditors' lots and an own. And that's how they purchased them.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that matters, but I did look to see if there was an agreement, and there was nothing recorded.
Okay, thank you, Marla. Is there any reason that we need to continue this public hearing?
Chairman, I guess I would I'm really
Yes.
interested. You mentioned, what was it, Chapter 40 in North Dakota Century Code, 50-12-16?
Yeah.
What
Title
is-
50?
Yeah, or Title 50, yeah.
Okay.
What exactly is the verbiage that allows separation out on that?
It just, vacation of plats before and after sale of lots. Before the sale of lots of plat, any kind of part of the plat or subdivision of land or a town site may be vacated by the property proprietors by a written statement, instrument declaring the plat to be vacated. Basically another plat. And it goes on in point 2 is if lots have been sold, a plat or any part of a plat may be vacated by all the owners of the lots in the plat joining at the signing of the instrument. Joining at the final, a new subdivision plat, you're basically vacating it with another plat. That's, I'm not an attorney, but that's the way it reads. Mr. Chair, my recommendation would be to table this and have an opportunity for the the developer to provide a site, master site plan, so that we can look at the whole picture of how this may affect the design of that master plan.
Okay.
I don't, I'm not saying it will. I'm not a proponent of either side. I'm just saying that the chief important reason of planning is to prevent future problems.
Okay, thank you, Mitch. Yeah, we would, just a kind of a point of procedure, we would end up having to continue. We'd have to move a continuance, not a tabling. So, yes, Commissioner Streifel.
Mitch, do you happen to know when that's 80 acres was purchased for the second access? Do you have information as to when that happened?
2022.
Any other comments or action? If there's no other comments, I guess I would entertain a motion to continue this public hearing.
Chairman, consider that so moved, and I guess the only comment with that is, well, one, I will say, I think this kind of came on abruptly. I don't know that the owner and the developer of the replatted subdivision, current subdivision to the west of them, have necessarily had a chance to discuss things. I think that would probably be prudent on their part to sit down and see if there's an agreement that they can come to on the side to allow them to do, the Hugheses to do what they would like, and make sure that whatever Mariners are planning with Countryside doesn't necessarily get, a bunch of stuff thrown in the gears on that. But two, I also think Mitch, kind of said it himself, he's not an attorney. I don't think this would be a bad idea to have the state's attorney just verify the opinion on Century Code. So that's the reasoning. Consider a continuance of this public hearing so moved.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved by Commissioner Zuroff, seconded by, we'll say, Commissioner Patrick, to continue this public hearing till our next meeting. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into all in favor of continuing this to next meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, we will take this public hearing up at our next meeting. We will move into our next public hearing of the evening, the Ketterling special use. So Mitch, if you could take us through some, or is Mitch taking this one? Take us through a couple details of that, and then we will open the public hearing.
Right. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, the staff met with Keith Ketterling earlier this last month regarding building a 64 feet by 120 feet for winter riding arenas for personal use. Currently, the Burleigh County zoning allows 4% lot coverage for all accessory buildings, and I have a site plan here, Mom. The square foot allowance to 4.21 acres is approximately 7,333 and a half feet allowed. The proposed building is 7,680. On the lot exhibit, you'll see an existing 40 by 40 accessory building, which would add 1,600 feet to that. So you have 7,680 plus or 7,335 plus 1,600 is 9,280. 7,335 equals a variance of 1,944 and a half feet. That's basically it in a nutshell. We haven't heard any complaints or any comments from neighbors. They were sent out. Marla, you sent out the notifications,
Yes.
and we didn't hear a reply from anybody, so. That's, drew that on there. It's not scaled, but it's fairly close to the size of what it would be and pretty close to the location.
Mitch, you said I didn't catch it, the difference between what is allowed and what is being asked for, or what is being planned to be built?
What is allowed is 7,335.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Any questions or comments for Mitch? Yeah, Commissioner Patrick.
Was there any use stated for this bill?
Indoor riding arena
And that's all it's gonna be?
for winter riding, yeah. For horses. I think the owner's here.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll want to talk.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for Mitch before he steps away and we open the public hearing? Seeing none. Thanks, Mitch. All right, we will open the public hearing on the Ketterling special use. Nice to introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and sign
Good
in.
evening, Commissioners. My name is Keith Ketterling. I'm here with my wife, Jan. She's the one with the equine addiction in our family. But my wife and I have shown horses for approximately 40 years, and it's been her wish to always have an indoor arena. So the reason for us to go ahead with this now at this point, the arena, as you can see from the description, is 64 by 120. The size of that is needed for the events that she does ride in, the English, the hunt seat equitation, that type of thing. So that's the reason for the excess there. For the, excuse me here, Marla. Anyway, lost my train of thought here. But the back to the neighbors, as far as anyone that's been a concern, we've contacted 9 of the neighbors in our cul-de-sac out there. I shouldn't say cul-de-sac, in our lookout neighborhood down there. Several have had questions, which we answered. I think I've answered sufficiently for them. And they've all been very supportive of the facility. It's not going to require any additional utilities. We may put power to it at that point, at some point down the road, but nothing extra. I mean, no extra approaches. It'll be cosmetically matching with the rest of our facilities or buildings on the place. White with a green roof, which would match everything else that we have on our property. Any questions from the commission that I can answer? We have 2 show horses. There's not going to be, and it's for private use only. This is for ourselves, our family, and for our grandchildren. So it's the only reason that it'll be, what it'll be used for. So, questions from anyone?
Just a quick question. Is there, I guess, what would be the reasoning? I think I understand it, that you wouldn't be able to build a building that is 7,335 square feet.
Well, that is the total, and I guess to clarify one thing on there, I guess the existing structure that we have there needs to be subtracted from that 7,335 square feet. That's the reason for the additional length that we're requesting now. Again, back to the show classes that my wife is in, the English, the hunt seat, these are big horses. These are 16, 17-hand horses. They need that long stretch, that long stride. The indoor arena, which will be able to utilize it in the wintertime. These horses need to get 3 to 4 months before the season. North Dakota Quarter Association, the shows start about the middle of April, and you need at least 3 or 4 months of time ahead of time. So giving North Dakota, that we need, it's a little difficult to do anything outside in February, March, and April. So another reason for us to request the special use permit for this. So.
Gotcha. Any other questions or comments for Keith? Oh, Marla, sorry. Yes.
I can explain that.
Yeah.
The 4% lot coverage. When I took his lot size, he was allowed to have 7,335 square feet of building, accessory buildings on his lot. He already has a 40 by 40. So I subtracted the 1,600 square feet from the 7,335, which remaining allowable was 5,735. And the building he would like to build is 7,680 square feet. So it's a difference of 1,944.5 square feet is what he's asking, really asking for the special use for that additional close to 2,000 square feet.
Gotcha.
So,
And
Chairman,
yes, Commissioner Zaroff.
So Marla, if I'm looking at the numbers right here, even if he would take down the existing 1,600 square foot building, this one building is still about 300-ish square feet larger than what's even allowed.
Yes. And that's why he's requesting the special use permit. And it will be located in the back part of his lot.
And this is a takedown and replace, not an add-on, right? Correct.
This is an add-on building.
Or this is
Yeah,
new-
this is a
new
standalone
construction.
Facility, yes.
But standalone, okay.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha. Any other questions for Keith? Seeing none, thanks, Keith.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if anyone else would like to speak in this public hearing of the Ketterling special use, please approach the lectern, tell us who you are, where you're from, and sign in. Anyone else like to speak in this public hearing? And last call for anyone who would like to speak in the public hearing for the Ketterling special use. Is there any reason to continue this, that anyone knows of, to continue this public hearing? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and move into discussion and action on it. Yes, Commissioner Rich.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the special use permit and give a due pass recommendation to the Burleigh County Commission.
Okay, it has been moved for approval of the Ketterling special use by Commissioner Rich, seconded by Commissioner Streifel. Is there any discussion on the motion? Yes, Commissioner Zaroff.
Okay, not to be the negative Nancy of the group here, but so right now with this, the allowable building, accessory building square footage on the lot is 7,335.5 square feet. With the construction of this, we're looking at allowing them to have 9,280. So 9,280 minus 7,335.5 divided by that 7,335.5. This is effectively 26.5% more coverage on this lot than what is currently allowed. We're not talking a 5% difference. We're not talking a 10% difference. We're talking a very, very substantial difference, almost 2,000 square feet. And the reason why a lot of those allowances are allowed in the zoning regulations are due to fire, okay? Fire code, all that stuff. I fully empathize and I completely understand that their current intent of this facility is to be a pole barn. Fast forward 10, 15, 20 years down the road, it's not a horse arena anymore. It's a big giant storage facility that somebody else purchases and packs full of everything and anything under the sun and then starts on fire. Okay? What kind of risk does that put the neighbors in? What kind of risk does that put our local fire EMS in? All that stuff, okay? That's why there's an allowable allotment in zoning or one of the reasons why, okay? I can't say from any sort of good judgment that allowing a lot coverage that is in excess of 26.5% over the already allowed square footage of accessory building is good, prudent judgment, so.
All right. Any further discussion on the motion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move into a roll call vote on the Ketterling special use.
Okay, the motion is to approve this special use and give a due pass recommendation. Okay. Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jarrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Patrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Rich,
Yes.
Commissioner Streifel,
Yes.
Commissioner Zuroff,
No.
and Chairman.
No. All right, the Ketterling special use passes with a recommendation for approval to the county commission. All right, we will move on to the Wentz special use public hearing. So Mitch, if you want to take us through a few details on that before we open the public hearing.
Right, Mr. Chair. Brian Wentz, he has a small landscape business. He grows trees. I don't, how active he is, I don't know, but he owns 2 lots there up on Island Road that are in your packet, the size of them. And he wants to build a building there to keep his landscape equipment inside during the winter and even during the summer. There are no buildings on the lot size itself. If he was to combine the 2 lots that he owns there, he wouldn't need a variance for the size of this, but because it's the 2,808 square feet accessory building, he wants the variance still be allowed to build it. Marla has sent over 60 letters.
67.
67 letters to the neighbors as part of our responsibility to notify us of the public hearing. We received 1 letter in opposition, 2 in opposition. But that's basically it in a nutshell. It's not a really large building. It's definitely not 7,000 square feet, but it's he's been out there for a very long time, and we have never received a complaint on his business yet. It's maybe more of a home occupancy.
So just the numbers here, it looks like 1,600, or is it?
He wants to build a 2,808.
Yeah.
So it would be 1,600 over.
Right, just the 1608 is the difference, right? Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
But if he would combine the 2 lots, he wouldn't need to be asking this.
Any questions for Mitch before he steps away? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Mitch. All right, we will open the public hearing for the Wentz special use. If anyone would like to speak at this, please approach the lectern, tell us who you are, where you're from, and sign in.
Okay. I'm Brian Wentz. I'm the owner here. Oh, am I the wrong one?
We want your autograph on the right one.
That's rude.
Yeah.
Might sell this someday.
Okay. Yeah, I can leave this here. I don't know if that shows up or not.
It should. There you go.
We actually own 1, 2, and 3 lots, and I'm across the street on the number 1 lot there. So we have all 3 lots. We were going to build on his property, which we could build the size building we want, but since he has both lots, we're putting it there. It's going to match the house. It'll be the exact same roof and the what's it called, siding? Yeah, it's a vertical or horizontal siding on that, so we could combine all 3 if we want, and then we can build a lot bigger building there, but we're not trying to do that. We just want the smallest building that we can put that'll house the equipment that we have, instead of having it set outside there and be an eyesore. And the whole area is fully landscaped around there with trees and that. So if you ever go out there, it's probably the nicest lot in Bismarck, his lot and my lot, with the trees and plants. So that's about it. We just did this special use permit because it's easier than subdividing, hire architects to redo all that, what do we call it, engineering, surveying.
Okay. Any questions for Brian? And I guess I just have one, Brian.
Sure.
Do you have any future plans of combining? You said you have 1, 2, and number 1, 2, and 3
No.
lots that
No,
are all.
there's going to be trees out there. This would be the only building we have any plans on doing. And if we did, we could combine them, but I don't see any reason for that. We originally just wanted to put a pole barn in there that's same side, but now we have to build it up 4 feet because we're on a floodplain, and it turned into a lot bigger project than we had planned.
Gotcha. Okay, any questions for Brian? Seeing none. Thank you, Brian.
Okay.
All right, if anyone else would like to speak at this hearing on the Wentz special use, please approach the lectern, tell us who you are, where you're from, and sign in. Anyone else like to speak at this public hearing? And last call. Anyone else like to speak at this public hearing? Please approach. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing on the Wentz special use and move into discussion and action. Yes, commissioners are off.
So remaining consistent with my previous tirade, everything pretty much falls in line with the same. The difference is he owns lots 1, 2, and 3. I would encourage the owner to go down the route of combining lots 1 and 2 to allow him the total allowable square footage rather than allowing a special use permit for this. He's got the property, the building size is there, working with a land surveyor. There were 2 of them in the room tonight. They're all great and they can absolutely take care of you, and it's not a very complicated process at all. But I feel like that would probably be the more prudent route to go to accomplish what he is trying to do here, rather than a special use permit on a lot that could be in the future sold off with an oversized accessory building, and again, potentially turn into a nightmare for future property owner, fire, EMS, everybody involved. So,
All right, any discussion and action? Yes, Commissioner Patrick.
I just want to make a motion that we approve and forward to the county commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Commissioner Patrick to approve this and move this to the county commission with a due pass recommendation, and seconded by Commissioner Rich. Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner
I
Rich.
just got a basic question for Mitch or whoever. So they're already over the allowable space, so if they wanted to put a home on it sometime in the future, they'd have to get a variance again?
For the
No?
house?
For the house?
No.
No, okay.
this is accessory building only.
Yep. Yes,
Yeah.
Marla.
They are not over the allowance of what would be allowed on that lot. They're over the allowance of what would be allowed on that lot without a house. If he combined them, he could go probably 4 or 5 times bigger. But he's only allowed 1,800 square feet on his size lot, I think it is, according to the ordinances. And that's why he's doing the special use, because it's not occupied.
And so if there were a house on that lot that he would like to build this on, what would be the allowable square footage? Do you know?
I don't know.
I know
off the top of my
it's
head.
more.
It's more. It's 4%. How big is?
It's 2.5 acres.
acres. 6, 7. Yeah. Yeah.
4,356 square feet would be allowable.
Yeah.
Yep.
And doesn't include a house, so.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Oh, yeah, Commissioner Streifel.
Marla, does the special use permit have a timeline on it?
No.
Well, he has a certain amount of time to put it into use. I think it's 1 year. Yeah, from the time it's issued. So.
Any further discussion on the motion? I guess I would slightly concur with Commissioners are off here that I don't know, I would rather not do variances. There are other ways to do this. I think the variance isn't the correct way to do this. I think there is a better way to do it by combining a lot. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. Marla, if you could take us through a roll call vote.
Sure.
And this is on the Wentz special use.
Okay, and this is, I'd give it a due pass recommendation, approve the special use. So, Commissioner Streifel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rich,
Yes.
Commissioner Patrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Jarrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Zuroff,
No.
Commissioner Conley,
No.
and Chairman,
No.
4 to 3.
All right, so the one special use permit, or the special use, has a due pass recommendation going to the county commission. That is all for our public hearings for the evening. It is, let's see, we're into other business now. Just one thing I'd like to bring up. We've had two, I guess, variances on sizes of buildings in our hearings tonight. It just makes me wonder, is that, do we, and we approve them, we approve the variance. So at what point do we need to take a look and say, we need to improve or increase lot coverage? Because it just seems like, well, if everybody's just gonna come and ask for a variance and get it approved, then what, or either that, or we just get rid of the coverage, the 4% coverage stipulation. So I don't know. Those are just some thoughts, because I mean, we approved one that's 26% over. The last one was 234% over. Now that one is a little different issue, because there's the opportunity to either, one, build a house on the lot or combine two lots to get around that. But it just seems to me like, and obviously, storage buildings, riding stables, all these things. Nobody's talking about small buildings. These are big buildings, and there's a lot of want and need for them. So I don't know really what the thought is on that, but it just seems like there's always a want for these larger buildings, and is there a need to actually start increasing that 4% lot coverage?
Right, Mr. Chair, the reason why it's 1,200 square feet for an accessory building without a primary structure is to prevent people from buying the lot after it's built and turning it into a mechanic shop or a cab or whatever. So they turn it into a home occupancy, which in some people's minds is commercial work. In my mind, I've been concerned about that for many reasons, but what I do want to do is have this 4%. We need to change some of that for larger lots, because now we're up into the 20,000 square feet for a building on a residential area lot. That's you're getting into commercial sized buildings. These are not residential anymore almost. And so it's the idea is that there should be a limit to these accessory buildings.
Yeah, and the 4%, correct me if I'm wrong, is on R1 or
For
is it R2?
Yeah, it's for residential.
It's any of the R.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, commissioners are off.
And again, it's not even reading between the lines. You literally have a commercial operation here. Call it what it is. It is a business that is running out of there. You just approved a mechanic shop to be built in a residential area.
Yeah, he's been there for he's one of the first ones to build out there.
My folks lived literally 5 houses down from him for, I don't know, probably 12 years.
Right.
And I agree. I don't think he doesn't pose, I'm going to say, like an imminent danger to the neighborhood. Everybody generally gets along with him out there. But what about the next guy?
Yeah, and then that'll land up on our desk as, and proper use of whatever. It's
You can't, but right. But when they have an allowable venue to be able to build the size of building that they want, but they're choosing not to exercise it because he blatantly said himself, I just don't want to deal with those architects and engineers. Well, I'm sorry, that's the proper way to go about this, rather than approving something that's 200 and some odd % over the current allowable size of building that's allowed on there.
So Mitch, did he come in and ask for a special use permit, or was he?
He wanted to build it. He actually came in, for the permit, and then we dealt more with the floodplain issue. And once I told him what he had to do for the floodplain, he has almost 4 feet of elevation there. He went, well, okay, I'm going to do a 4-foot frost wall and all this other stuff. And so then he said, well, I might as well build it this size the way I want it. And that's what compounded it. I'm not so concerned about this. I'm concerned about buildings that are over 8,000 to 10,000 square feet now up into 20,000 square feet. Those, I don't know. I don't believe they're residential use. Well,
So, you know, and
That sounds like
I
a
guess
conflict of interest, Commissioner Jarrett.
You know, the reason that I bring it up though is that, you know, it's either we're just gonna continue to approve variances or, how do you ever turn down a variance? Because we start to approve, well, this one was 5%, well, now this one's 10%, or now this one was, now it's 50%, or this is, how do you ever tell somebody no at that point? And then
Right.
at that point, you might as well just change the ordinance.
Well, yeah, I
It's
mean,
not
right
just
now,
us.
right now, the base is over 200%, so.
but this is not just Burleigh County.
I
The city
agree.
deals with all the time.
agree,
Other
yeah.
communities, they are huge pole barn shops, barn dominium kind of deal situation. Right, they don't even fit into the building codes.
Yeah.
They're so big. And so it's like, yeah, there should be a cap, in my mind, of the 4%, certain for even if, say you've got 12 acres and you want to do like 13 acres, like what he wants to. Easily would have been allowed 22,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And so that's, to me, is not, it's potential for problems in the future.
Yeah, and granted, I mean, I don't want to come off talking about that, or someone thinking that I don't like what these people were doing with these buildings. I like it. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great. That's a good thought. It just, it's not, it goes against the ordinance, and then we just seem to just approve every variance we get for, well, I want to build a building over. So
Well, we
what I'm
didn't-
talking about is that, then why don't we just change the ordinance?
We haven't approved that one yet. That's still
Yeah, I
tabled.
agree.
So,
That's
this one here, I honestly, to me, that was not a lot of heartburn on this. I mean, eventually somebody's going to build a house there.
Yeah.
But then we just approved, was a special, no, they combined lot for a 5,000 square foot accessory building up there on Island Road. They didn't need any special use permit.
Right.
So it's kind of, yeah, they don't fit into any kind of planning model. They don't fit, they don't fit into building codes. There's nothing in a building code that recognizes a 22,000 square foot accessory building.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, but I do agree with, if you're going to start building indoor riding arenas, these are not small buildings. You don't get away with a small building if you're doing an indoor riding arena. That's a very large building.
Right.
And they're becoming more popular. So I don't know, it's just something that is starting to kind of spark some thoughts in my head about, like, is there something we need to do differently or call things out differently if they're going to be used for, okay, if it's a riding arena, then we consider it differently. I don't know.
yeah, I don't want to restrict people's in their dreams. That's one thing. But to me, there's also a borderline as, it's no longer residential use.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
go
our
ahead.
purpose here is to be an advisory board and to hear the people and listen to their ideas, but also to listen to the concerns from the neighbors. And we didn't see much for concerns from the neighbors tonight. And that, I think, would have made a big difference.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit of devil's advocate on it then, as well as, say, the special use. If they want it, like you say, with horse arenas, they have to be large. Special use permits for towers or other things that go up. Part of that plan is that if you ever decide to sell, then you have to remove the variance amount so you could get back into compliance with the ordinance before you move forward. That would change I mean, if you really want it,
Well,
but you sign off, there's some cost.
Mr. Chair, special
Yeah.
use permits do not run with the land.
Oh, they run with the individual.
If they sell that property, back here.
It's now out of compliance then. Right.
Which, again, is why the better plan is lot combination or stick within the means and bounds of whatever is allowed.
Yeah. So anyway, just a couple thoughts. Anyone have anything else?
I'd only say the 4% is pretty small when you're dealing with some of this stuff, so maybe but it would be the city commission would have to change the ordinance in that regard.
No, the
right?
county commission would be
Or the
changing the ordinance.
Excuse, county commission.
Well, and as a matter of fact, they are. The city is changing that ordinance because they've been beaten down.
What are they changing to? Do you know?
They're to 4%.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Going more in line
Well,
with what the
there's-
county has. Yep.
To me, there should be a cap. If you get over 4 acres, that's you know what I mean? You get over 10,000 square feet for an accessory building, or 8, even 8 is large. I mean, I don't know if, that would be my recommendation if we, it's been on my mind for a long time
Sure.
to change that ordinance,
At
to
what
put a
point is
cap.
it commercial? or
Right.
maybe, I don't want to say that, but maybe considered something different. Yeah.
Just a little history.
Yeah.
The Burleigh County Commission changed that 4% back in 2017, because I worked for the city, and in 2017, Burleigh County just came in with that 4%.
What was it before?
1,200 and 1,800, kind of like our, yeah, but they just came in with the 4% because they got a lot of complaints about the size. So, that's something to consider too.
Okay, any other business?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Any opposition to adjournment? Hearing none, we're adjourned.